Rerun. I get the snapping in this bitch like I'm Mo 6 Legend. Now let me see you do it. Snap your fingers out. Do you still? On all saints all by myself. Let me see you do it. The 99 do it. Hey, snap your fingers out. Do you still? North side.
Welcome to another episode of Them Football Guys. It's your host, Lord Baba Yaga. You already know what it is. We got another episode for y'all. Week 5 is behind us. It's time for the waiver wires. Except for week 6 waiver wires. Let's get right into this. I hope y'all weeks are going well. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. Y'all leave a comment. Y'all tap in on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter. We are on Apple Music and Spotify. Make us one of your sources. So let's get right into it. For our first player, let's start with the quarterbacks at least. For our first player, we got Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins is getting comfortable in a new offense after, the ACL tear last year. I believe he has a lot of potential to exceed a lot of people's expectations, as we've seen over 500 passing yards in the last game we saw. The Monday night primetime Kirk dilemma seems to be false now, having won 2 back-to-back primetime games. I think Kirk Cousins is a person you can roster and store for those treacherous bye weeks that are coming up. The second player we got is the second quarterback we have is quarterback Joe Flacco for the Colts. If in the event that Anthony Richardson misses more time, Joe Flacco kind of has the improved odds of becoming I don't want to say top 20, top 15. I don't want to really put a number to it, but Joe Flacco has if you've had a Tua Tagovailoa or for some reason, Jacoby Brissett in deeper leagues, Joe Flacco has the opportunity to step up for you and be that swap in, or even if you have a bye week or you may have just lost Josh Allen to a concussion, which we have not confirmed to be true or not, but you have the opportunity to kind of slide him into your starting lineup. But, with most of these waiver quarterbacks, temper expectations, it is matchup dependent. But for the most part, I think he's a good stash and start whenever necessary for bye weeks. The next quarterback I have on my list is Bo Nix. And of the 3 quarterbacks we named here, Bo Nix is the only rookie. It's even short of being a rookie. He's the only player that's, the rest of these guys are kind of like extreme vets. Like they've been in the league for years on top of years. But as far as Bo Nix goes, we've seen a kind of a progression in his play. Stepping forward, kind of putting the ball out there. They're giving him a little bit more control of the offense. He's kirking on Sean Payton, meaning that, his balls are finally dropped and he's finally, taking that step in the offense where he's almost ready to claim this offense as his own. If that becomes the case, he has the potential to be viable, at least fantasy viable. Daniel Jones is an honorable mention. If you need a quarterback, Daniel Jones has proven that with or without Neighbors that he can perform. He can play on the big stage, and he's having a pretty phenomenal year so far, despite what many of us probably expected. Even if it looks goofy at times, because every time he runs, he falls, but he does run, and mobility is an important factor for a quarterback in fantasy, at least. Moving on to the next position, which is the tight end position, because it's the skippest of the list. I have K. Otten. That's pretty much it. He's seen an increase in work, and usually whenever there's a deficiency in one other portion of the offense, the tight end seems to be the portion that steps up. And especially this week coming up, K. Otten is probably a good start, and I suggest that you stash him. And if you have a tight end that, let's say, you drafted Mark Andrews and you're in tight end roulette every week, K. Otten is probably a good start at this point. It's probably a good time to start considering benching Mark Andrews every week if you hadn't already done that and you're a little late to the party. Moving on to the next position, we have running back. For running back position, I have 3 running backs. Miles Sanders, Ogunbowale, and Tyron Tracy. All three of these running backs are kind of based on the idea that the starting running back misses time. There is a drop in production from the starting running back, and there is a hole to fill. So essentially, Miles Sanders is here because if Chuba Hubbard misses time, or if Chuba Hubbard sees a deficiency and Miles Sanders is prone to the receiving work, then he has a increase in work. I personally don't like Miles Sanders, and this is actually Woj's. I don't like Miles Sanders in any capacity. He kind of threw me off last year, so I don't know how I feel about Miles Sanders at the starter, but everything was wrong with Bryce Young. So I think there's an opportunity that with Andy Dalton as the starter, Miles Sanders has the possibility to exceed expectations if he ever gets to work. The second running back, Ogumawale, he's the primary receiving back, and he took most of the work as the number one. Even though on a efficiency basis, Cam Akers was more efficient than him in terms of on the ground work, but he did receive most of the receiving work that game, so he technically has the most value in the event that Mixon misses more time and continues to mix time. He's a great person to start and plug in, and he's probably a low value add at this point. The last running back we have is Tyron Tracy, who's in the similar position as Ogumawale, where if Singletary remains out, Tracy has the opportunity to be profitable in this offense. And with the way he played last game, no touchdowns, but 128 rushing yards, if I'm not mistaken. He's a good, stash and start in the event that Singletary misses, because the Giants' offense right now is kind of firing on all cylinders. So we're kind of looking for that. But the only downside with Tracy is he got only one reception, one target. If I'm not mistaken, it was only for like 2 yards. So he's not much. There wasn't much work for him there in the passing game. But if Singletary continues to stay out, easy plug and play situation. Moving on to the bread and butter, the wide receivers. We only have 2 wide receivers on this list right now. We have Ray McCloud for Black Woj, Boogie Montana, and I have Boo Boo Smith-Schuster. Starting off for mine, because it's a little easier for me to explain my own pick. Juju, well, you saw the game he had. It's not too hard to explain out of that, but he's also the idea that him and Rashee Rice, if he plays the role Rashee Rice played, or if he even has a semblance of the role and targets that Rashee Rice has, such as what we just saw in this previous game, Juju has the opportunity to be unironically like a top 15, top 10 wide receiver if the volume stays the same. Without the volume, he drops down to top 20 in terms of possibility, because Patrick Mahomes has one of the most valuable targets in the NFL right now. Valuable targets mean like if you're a receiver getting targets from Patrick Mahomes, every target counts as something. It could be something big, as we've seen from players like Worthy, who can perform with no more than 3 targets per game. As far as Waiver McCloud, if you missed out on the Darnell Mooney train and you missed out on you don't have Drake London, Kirk Cousins has proven that in a high offense game, a high offensive shootout, and any game that's considered competitive for Kirk Cousins, he will in fact pass the ball to all his offensive weapons, including Ray McCloud, who is one of the people who he likes to keep in the middle, a good dump off merchant, a good over the middle guy. So Raymond McCloud is a good, stash and start if you're suffering a little bit from the bye weeks this week. And that pretty much does it for our waiver wire pickups. Like and subscribe, leave a comment. Let us know what you're thinking. Let us know if there's anybody else on the waiver wire that you feel like you have to pick up. If you watch this video the next day for some reason, let us know. Is there players on your waiver wire or free agency that you managed to snag, not on waiver wire, but on free agency? Like and subscribe, leave a comment, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. Make us one of your sources. We on Apple Music and Spotify. We everywhere you need us. But for now, them football guys, we out.